All right, we are here with Dan, the owner of Retro Reactor and the creator of One Strike and Two Strike. Let's get into this. I can't wait to hear about this. But the first question I'm going to get started with is very simple. Where did you get the idea for the game? I know we kind of already discussed this off the camera, but I'd love for everyone else to hear. Where did the idea for One Strike and Two Strike come from?
Yeah, I mean, it all started with me watching this Seven Samurai movie from Akira Kurosawa,
Yep.
and right in the beginning where like they're looking for samurais to defend this village. There's this duel scene in the beginning, and like both of the fighters, they are like holding like wooden swords, and they do like a kind of exercise fight, and seems to be ended in a tie, and then like the like there's like a older serious samurai that says, no, I won, like if this were like real swords, the fight would be over and you'll be dead. And the other guys start like screaming and like, okay, let's do this. And like both of the fighters, they unsheath their swords, and then like the whole atmosphere of the movie is just completely changed. Everybody like can't blink, everybody's sweating, and the two fighters just like staring at each other and trying to approach, but like the tension in the air, and then just like in a flash, like they both attack at the same time, but the other like the most serious older samurai just like in one strike just finishes the match. And then I said, like, can you imagine like putting this into a game? I mean, I know there are like other games that have these references, like we were talking before, like Bushido Blade is one of the games that people just usually bring it up when we talk about the game with my games. But I have to say I played a little bit when I was younger, but it wasn't like this huge reference that people usually think about it. It's more this movie. And like for One Strike, the reason why it's pixelated, it's because at the time I was participating in this game jam with the theme of the Game Boy Color,
Mm-hmm.
and we had all these restrictions in colors and everything. So I had to do the game in just 4 colors. So the game was like shades of green,
Mm-hmm.
and there was just one character, and but the core mechanic was there. It was pretty fun. I think it did quite well, and I had to draw everything and program everything in Unity. So yeah, and then I decided to continue like developing, and like every new like developer, I made the mistake of trying to develop online multiplayer for it
Mm-hmm.
right at the beginning. So that almost made me drop the project and just starting something new. But after like a couple of months, like from like refreshing and staying away from it, I decided to get back and just add new characters. And yeah, I mean, with after 8 months of development, um, I released the first version with 6 characters, and uh, at like at the release, especially on Steam, the game sold absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like what everybody told me in the past, because uh, like we were talking before, I'm not a software engineer by career. I'm actually an electronic engineer. So like, but I do work in a IT company as a QA engineer. So, and like most of my friends and colleagues, they all told me to like back off of them from this. There's no future in that. Just do your stuff. Just like do your QA and move on with your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically like, well, like I started hearing them again saying, oh well, I think they were right. No, like you can sell your game. What can you do? But I knew that the game will do good on, like, will do at least better on the Nintendo Switch, because
Oh yeah.
it was like kind of a the portable thing about the Switch is that you just can unplug the controllers, and then you can start playing, right? And that was the fun. I knew that One Strike was pretty fun, like to play with just with two friends. And like ever since the beginning with the first version with just Genji on it. So I started pitching the game like crazy on the internet for anybody that wanted to release it. And after 3 months, like nobody actually mailed me back or
Mhm.
answered me, and I was about to give up. And then like this Polish publisher, they said, yeah, sure, like let's like the game is really fun, so let's sign it. And what happened is that the game ended up selling 300,000 copies. So
That's
it wasn't
awesome.
bad.
Yeah, that's awesome. Especially for an indie game, like 300, you said 300,000 copies. That's
Yeah.
I think. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I probably know I'm doing the numbers wrong, and I'm gonna get yelled at by all my Skullgirl fans. But I think Skullgirls struggled just to get to 500,000. So, and like that's like known as the big indie fighting game. So like, dude, that's amazing. If that's the numbers you're pulling, that's
Uh-huh.
great. Um,
Yeah, that's really impressive.
you
Even for me.
you mentioned you're an electric engineer, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I definitely notice the name of your company, Retro Reactor. So like I'm assuming Reactor with engineering is something that's kind of something that goes on there. What? How did you come to the name of your company then? Like was it just you just picked a couple words, threw them together, or do these words hold a little more deeper meaning for you?
I mean, I think it's like I said, like the at least the past as an electronic engineer was something that I put a lot of my time with. Like took me 8 years to finish college.
Mhm.
It wasn't easy. And like the reactor is something that generates stuff now. And like since I was doing basically pixel art game at the time, I thought it was very appropriate like mix, you know.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Where did you go to school? Where was your college? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, it's in the northeast of Brazil.
Okay.
It's called Universidade de Pernambuco.
Okay.
It's like it's a federal university, so at least I didn't pay for it. I mean, the
Okay.
government paid,
Mhm.
so yeah, it's like free help, like public education at least. But yeah, I mean the normal time is 5 years, so I struggle a lot to finish. It was a very difficult one, and I ended up not using it at all. But well,
You're not the first person to do that. Many people
yeah.
go to school and end up not using it at all. So I guess I know you chose it because of Samurai, but was it always the idea to make a fighting game, or was there some other like ideas you were thinking about, maybe like an RPG or maybe doing like a beat 'em up, or was it always a fighting game that like you had the idea for?
No, it was like the idea was always a fighting game, and I have to say it wasn't really. I really haven't thought this out until the Game Boy Game Jam, because we had only 10 days to do the game, so
Oh,
I knew
10
that, yeah,
days?
10 days.
Yikes.
So like I think the only option would do like a fighting game, because like that was only a mirror match of Kenji versus Kenji, and that's it, you know. So that's when like yeah, I couldn't do anything else, to be honest, to call it a game. So that's why I decided to do a fighting game. Like all of the other games that I've done, that were all platformers, besides my first one, which is like a small like Android baseball game, because I'm like a New York Mets fan.
All right.
So
Good stuff.
and I used to play baseball in Brazil as well for 10 years. So
Okay. So obviously you have a lot of inspiration from like the Japanese cultures and samurais and stuff. Where do you get the ideas for the names of the characters? Because some of them are quite unique. Are you pulling from like inspiration from history? Are you pulling, or is it your own creations? Where are you getting some of the names for the characters?
so most of the names are like historical names.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tomoe is from like a very famous woman warrior from like medieval Japan. You had Hozoin, which is from like a very famous like warrior like monk clan in Japan as well. Um, but like for example, Kenji is it's just a really a name that I really liked when I was like growing and reading like mangas and this kind of things. And that was just like a character from the manga, basically. But for example, the character I think it was Bylong and One Strike. It's just because I was super fan of Van Damme, like the white like what was the name of the movie? fight sport that he like the that he fights in this like like life or death like fighting tournament.
The Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Bloodsport, right? I think
Blood,
it's Bloodsport. Yeah,
Bloodsport,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
I know
yeah, and
exactly what you're talking about.
and his name, like the name of the movie in Portuguese is like that they always like change the translations, but it, like
Mhm.
translating it back to English is the big white dragon. So Bailong is actually white dragon in Chinese. I
Oh.
mean, at least I think it is.
Hey man, it worked, right?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I mean, not a lot of inspiration for the names, especially in the first one. The second one, I've worked with this very like multicultural team behind me.
Okay.
So the art director and the main animator for the game, he's Brazilian Japanese. So he lived in Japan for many years. So he has a lot of baggage, and he understands a lot of Japanese culture.
Sure.
The musician is Canadian Chinese, so he also brings a lot of like cultural stuff to the game as well. And the rest of the people working for me is basically Brazilians. But like now, just recently, I hired a historian to actually like help me write the story mode for Two Strikes. And I have to say that it will be really fun, really cool. There's like that this guy is really good, and
Hmm.
like he right now is putting up a historical profile for each of the characters. So all of the characters, they actually existed at some like existed like
Oh
they're
yeah.
all
Okay.
fictional characters, of
Yep.
course, but they existed in this period of time at the same time and during the Sengoku era in Japan.
Okay.
So don't know if you know about this because I mean probably not because there's not a lot of details about it. But in One Strike, like all the characters are alive, and this sounds stupid, but the thing is that in Two Strikes, all of them, all of the characters are already dead.
Oh,
So
I did not know that. Those poor
yeah.
souls.
And what's happening in Two Strikes is that the God of Death, he's like bored as usual in like many like anime and movies. So he decided to pull up a tournament and like put this souls, this like tormented souls to fight and have a chance to go back to Earth for a couple of hours and try to get some unfinished business in there. So they all have like full life with the like from the beginning to the end until they die, and they get to meet some of like some characters met some of the characters in life, but not all of them. So there's a lot to work on here, and also that I'll have a copywriter to write the dialogues. Because what I want to do with the story mode is to tell a little bit like Hades, you know, the Supergiant game,
Yes. Yep.
which is like
Really good game.
beautiful, yeah. And the idea is that every time the player finishes the game and then he beats like he beats the game, he will get a chance to see like the progression of the story a little bit. And just like in Hades, like he can't stay there forever, so he has to come back and fight again.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm going with.
Dude, I think that concept of everyone's dead and coming back is such a unique, like I've never seen that in a fighting game before, and it's really cool. I gotta say, it's a really unique way to do that. I gotta ask, when it comes to, I asked you about the inspirations you got it from samurais, but what other fighting games have you used to inspire you while creating this? Like, I guess in the same question, like what fighting games did you grow up on? I guess it'll lead up into this question.
Yeah, like like initially I played a lot of Samurai Showdown, like
Mhm.
especially the first and the second. I used to have like this old arcade machine close to my place, and so me and my brother would go there and play, especially like the Samurai Showdown 2. And like I was obsessed with Genjiro, so I was always like getting my ass kicked by my brother because he was older than me, so I had more skill.
Mhm.
And after that, like basically all the Street Fighters until the Alpha 2. I really liked them. And then I mean, I played a couple of them for the PlayStation. We were talking about Bloody Roar, like great game.
Love that
But
game.
and but yeah, before that, actually, it was I really liked a Kill Instinct for the NES as well.
Ooh,
I thought it was like, especially like the narration of the game was so good. Like it made you like really. That was a valid game for that time, I have to say. I
yes, it
mean,
was.
the first Mortal Kombat, and then like later, definitely the like the Mortal Kombat until the 9 to the 11, and they changed like a lot of the. I kind of like moved away from Street Fighter. I thought like we were talking, like I'm really bad like fighting game player, really bad.
I am too.
So so I ended up like moving away from this like very complicated combo like dependent fighting games.
Mhm.
So that's basically what happened. I never really liked the arena like Smash Brothers, like Smash Bros, and so I basically stayed with Mortal Kombat for a long while, and then I got back to the new Samurai Showdown, which was decent,
Yeah.
was pretty good, and later like Guilty Gear. But like I'm so bad. It's sad because
Yeah. Me too.
I
I
played
can't.
online.
I can't.
I just got my ass kicked so much that I just like said no, it's okay, and just let me concentrate on making games.
Do you think because you mentioned that you feel you're not the best at the fighting games, do you think it helps with like two strikes because of the concept is a little more simpler? We only have to get two strikes to get. Do you think that is part of your like philosophy with while making the game that coincides with you being like, because you can't do these crazy combos, you can at least get a couple wins if you nail just one or two hits? Do you think that is part of the like philosophy with creating the game?
Yeah, definitely. Like the mean being bad definitely like shaped the whole the whole games that I did. But not only that, I mean, it's even though I was bad, I really like enjoy playing fighting games,
Mm-hmm.
and that there are elements in them that are not too complex, and then that they can work in a simpler game. Like we see like this with footsies and dive kicks, and yeah, like the just like the mind games. That my main idea, and with the gameplay of two strikes and one strike, it's just mind games because it's basically trying to read your opponent or trick them. And like with two strikes, I think I got this like more right because of the canceling of the
Mm-hmm.
attacks,
Yep.
and this adds like this new like this whole new layer, and actually planning on adding a new one. I was like talking with a couple of players, and I think I'm gonna add this special like parry that
Ooh.
opens the defense, and
Mm-hmm.
you can use just once around. So I think I'm gonna start trying this soon. I'm just like designing the best way to show this and to not confuse players,
Sure.
because one of the things with two strikes, I mean, with one strike, I never even considered doing like a tutorial, right?
Mhm.
Because it was so simple. I just had to understand which buttons you have to press. But with two strikes and the canceling mechanic, like not recently, I actually did like a poll on Twitter, and I found out that half of the players they didn't know about the canceling mechanic.
Mhm.
So I have to pay attention to that and actually work on a tutorial. It's on the task list,
Oh yeah,
definitely.
for sure. Good stuff. All right, so I want to talk about some of your characters. And forgive me, I'm gonna probably butcher their names or forget them. I gotta ask, the one with the pipe, the
Goemon.
Goemon, is it? Where did the inspiration for that come from? Because he's essentially your zoner, I guess you'd say, of the game. Like, where did the idea come from? It's such a creative character. Like, where, like, I guess I want to go through all the characters, I guess, if I'm gonna be honest. But like for him, it's particularly like, where did that idea come from with the pipe and the? I guess are they those called kunais? I even forgot, or did they just
Yeah, the
dagger?
kunais. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I played with the idea of projectile character in One Strike.
Mm-hmm.
That this character called Dragon, and he throws shurikens.
Sure.
And it was pretty difficult for me to balance this character So I knew that if I had to add a projectile character again, it had to be different. So that's why the kunais are like they are not they do not go like horizontally
Mm-hmm.
to like so
Yes.
that and I added the necessity to get really close to the characters to be able to actually hit the kunais. So he's a zoner, but I mean you have to take a lot of risks to make it work. And I mean his design is actually based on the legendary like Japanese Robin route, like Robin Hood.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so he's a historical person like Goemon.
Really? I see.
Um,
That's so awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was truly a ninja, and he was like from the. I'm probably gonna say something wrong here, but and my historian would like probably kick me. But I mean, he was from the Iga region, where like there's actually a couple of animes about it, like the Ninja Scroll and this kind of things. So he actually he stole from the rich and gave to the poor.
Mm,
He had like a big like band of bandits, and
that's
he
awesome.
actually tried to assassinate the like the political leader, the military leader of Japan a couple of times, actually twice, according to the legends. And for that, like the second time that he tried, he was actually caught. And it's very famous because they boiled him in oil in
Ooh.
like a big pot alongside with this like infant child. So like he was holding his baby while he was burning in the oil, and until like he couldn't hold the baby anymore, and the baby died as well. So
Ooh.
that's his like his story. But I mean, there's many legends surrounding him. So it was actually quite fun to actually like define his story in the game because there's many versions.
Okay. I think I'm gonna say her name wrong. I'm so sorry. Is it Tamio?
Tomoe is the
Tomoe,
woman.
yeah, yes. Very awesome design. Very cool. Is that another one that's? I think you mentioned that she's inspired by someone else as well. Correct?
Yeah, she's inspired by this very famous woman general from like the medieval Japan,
Sure.
and she was like a terror, especially on horseback. She put like she was a great leader and a great warrior as well. So that's like where like her name comes from. And she in the game she's not like related to this warrior because she's from a very different period. But I mean, her story is basically kind of a Romeo and Juliet drama. But
Oh,
he's from like she's highborn, but she trained swordsmanship as well. So it would be fun to tell her story as well.
awesome. Um, moving to more of like you mentioned that you I guess you sold 300,000 units, right? 300,000 units were sold for
Yeah,
two strikes. Um,
one strike.
oh, one strike. Excuse me. Um, if you could go back, like, and rework a couple things on that, what would be some things you would do to, like, I don't know, either improve it or is there anything you can give advice to like new indie developers that you would give while working on a game?
Yeah, definitely not trying online multiplayer.
Okay. Okay.
It's yeah, I know that. I mean, like after releasing One Strike, I think was the biggest complaint I got. Like, why your game doesn't have online multiplayer? And the reason is very simple. It's because it's very difficult to make. It's I
Mm.
mean, I'm not a software engineer. I mean, I kind of am like now, but I'm not a
Yeah.
very skilled one.
Yeah. You're getting
So
there. I mean, you made two great games. You're heading in that direction. So,
yeah, I mean they're working, but like
yeah.
the architecture and the code, they don't look good. Like believe me. But anyway, so that's one thing. The other thing is play test your game a lot.
Mm.
Bother like move away from your family and your friends
Okay.
and actually because
What? Okay.
bec- because that's usually what you do, no? Like, oh no, like test this with me. But they're not they don't want to help you. They just like want you to leave him alone. They don't care. So like bring your game to people that actually like playing games
Sure.
and just watch them playing. And it's one thing that I did not do with One Strike. And luckily, I do have a very amazing community for One Strike now, or Two Strikes now, that came from One Strike, and now they are following the whole like development from Two Strikes, and
Sure.
they've been amazing. They're like very supportive people, and now I've like that's one of the things I do now. It's like not like frequently, but I do like hold some playtesting, and especially live playtesting. Um, Another thing that happened was that I had a big problem with one of the musics
Okay.
from One Strike. It was a big drama. Not sure if you have time to listen to this.
If you want to talk about it, we can. I'm down.
Yeah. So I mean, I was like, remember, I was like recently married. I didn't have any money. I was working, just starting a new career and with something very different, and I had to hire like this music teacher to do the soundtracks for the game, and he used one of his students because he was a music teacher, and okay, the game got released and everything, but like the second the game got released in Japan on the Nintendo Switch, like there was a huge backlash on Twitter, like people calling me like thief and everything. And then we discovered that one of the tracks were actually stolen from like this old Konami game. And
Really?
yeah, I mean, yeah, I worked with the publisher to remove the song in like a couple of hours once we discovered.
Yeah.
And the music teacher, he did a new song for the game for the game to replace it, and we replaced everything that the this student touched. So, but yeah, but it was a really tense period of time.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly how can you avoid that, especially as a like started indie developer.
Mhm.
But it was one of the things that happened.
Did that kid pass music class? Is what I want to know. Did he pass after that? I would have failed him.
I hope not.
All right. Well, one thing I definitely want to mention about your game, and I've said it before we get started, your game is beautiful. It's like it's all hand drawn. I I can tell like there's a lot of love that is put into every little like nook and cranny of it. So like I guess let's just like start with something like the home screen. Like how long did it take you just to do that? Is that like a couple days? Is it weeks? Like how long does it take you to do like each panel?
So like the home screen, like I had this the art director for the game. He never worked with games before. He's called like Gerson Oshido, and he's half Brazilian, half Japanese, and he had. I mean, he lived in Japan, so he had a lot of like baggage. Um, so he was also like a very talented artist. It's like if
Sure.
like his, I was really like dazzled by his portfolio. So I invited him to work with me, but he had a very like archaic method of actually working. He could do like these artworks for the screens in one day, but the animations were really painful for him to do. So the first character, like Kenji, took him like 8 months to finish.
Wow.
Just one
Okay.
character.
Okay.
Yeah. So we talked about this before, but I always worked alone. So it was my first time actually managing
Hmm.
people. So that's where I started to act a little bit and get to like try to see what could like we improve in his process. So we actually like nicked a lot of things. We like he was actually drawing like for you to understand why it took so long. He was actually drawing on paper with a Nanking pen all of the frames.
Wow.
He
Okay.
he took like because I mean by this time I already moved to Europe. So like I actually went to São Paulo to and we saw each other. He like showed me like this pile of paper of all the frames, you know, for Kenji.
Okay.
So he had to like digitalize all of the paper, all of the pages, like add like white to fill all everything. So like this took like a long time. So after I stepped in and trying to improve this process, it took him around like 3 to 4 months to finish the like Tomoe, which was the second one.
Sure.
But the problem was like the amount of money that we settled to make the whole game was in my opinion fair at the time. But since he took him a whole year, like my idea was to finish the game in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So I was expecting something very like much more simpler, a different art style, and way less complex. But like Gerson is a very perfectionist person,
Mm-hmm.
and he did not want to do anything less than what he did. So I had to deal with that, and the result is like 4 years and probably one more to finish the game.
Sure.
And but I mean, the result has panned out, right? I mean, yeah, I do agree. The game is beautiful, and I'm really proud of it. But I mean, just for people to understand, like the work that is behind that, it's like a lot of people say that like the game is too. I hear sometimes that the game is too expensive. It's like for like $15 right now,
Don't listen to
and
them.
yeah, I mean, I kind of like. I mean, I understand that the game doesn't have a lot of content right now because I mean, let's talk about this a little bit because it's on early access,
Mm-hmm.
and I made quite clear that like the state of the game when I released it on early access was that there were only four characters. I had like the whole last year I had many problems with artists like with also with Jerson, so I had to hire two more artists to help me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just recently restarted releasing updates frequently. So that's the reason why the game is like longer than it should on early access, but it's still on early access. There's a lot of things to add to the game yet. There's 3 more characters to add still
Mm-hmm.
to the vanilla version, and we are preparing a boss now. So
Let's go.
yeah, there'll be and yeah, the boss will be the god of theft, the Shinigami.
Okay.
So
I was gonna
his
take
design looks pretty
I,
cool.
I was gonna take a guess that it was gonna be you were gonna put in Mitsurugi, because I know a little bit about Mitsurugi with Japanese lore, like the traveling samurai and stuff. But ooh, a boss mode. I'm very excited to do that now. That's very exciting. Um,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I guess I want to ask a question about when it comes to, you said it's how long, uh, I guess, does it take for, like, the first one you said was 9 months? It took 8 or 9 months for the first character.
Yeah.
All right. So where are you now for each character? Does it take? Has that time shrunk since? Like, is it the
Yeah.
same amount or?
Actually, no. I mean, the thing is that the characters are ready.
Sure.
Like all the way to the 8th character, the art is ready. But there's still a lot of things, bug fixing and like balancing. So I'm releasing I'm planning on releasing the 6th character in April. And like in the meantime, I'm working on there's a lot of like bugs still, and so I want to like have the really like smooth and balanced fighting experience, because like I understand how frustrating it is to like get the whole mind game, like the footsies and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
just like get like a nice hit, and then like a bug like doesn't let you do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the things I'm working on. There's also a couple of new game modes that I'm working on, and one of them is like a very casual game mode where you can fight for like 4 players at the same screen, like two on each side.
Mm-hmm.
And
Really?
yeah, you can play. Yeah, the idea is you can play with like 4 people with friends,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it will not be a serious mode,
Yeah.
but I did like 2 AIs fighting against me,
Mm-hmm.
and it was so fun that I decided that I needed to add that to the player as well. So that's one of the things we want to add besides the story mode that I told you, and like the 3 more characters that's are still to be added, the boss, and one of the things I'm currently like. So why don't I release all of the characters now, for example, even though they are bugged? The main reason is because currently looking for a publisher now, and
Yep.
the publisher needs the game to not be released to have more interest on it. So um, other than that, like if I release the game now, it will be so unpolished that I will see a lot of returns that like recently there was another TikToker that talked about the game, and a lot that brought a whole lot of new players, and there was a lot of complainings about the game not being like fully
Yeah.
a couple of bugs and everything. So I had like 30% refunds.
Okay.
So I don't want to see that happening. You know,
Mhm.
I want people to play the game and have a great experience and tell their friends and like go play together. So it's still the game development is not my main work. It's not my main job. I have
Mhm.
a 8-hour job in this company in Barcelona that I do enjoy working in there, and I like the game development is something that I do because I do love it. I mean, I've been doing for 8 years now, and I don't plan on stopping. And maybe with 2 strikes, I can actually like fund myself enough to just work fully. So let's see.
Yeah. I'm a
Um,
full-time
uh,
mailman and I do this. So I understand working a full-time job and trying to do your passion. It can be hard sometimes.
yeah, and also another thing, very very important that I forgot. The reason why I don't just release everything the way it is, and it's because I do want to have the game like to add to the game online multiplayer mode, of course. That's what like most of One Strike players complain, and they really want it, and it's not easy to make one, and I'm not skilled enough, and I don't have enough time to work on the other stuff that the game needs and work on that as well. So that's where the publisher enters. The publisher, the partner that I'm looking for the game is the one that will help me publish the game and market. But not only that, but also help me develop a really robust online multiplayer solution,
Sure.
which is very difficult.
Hmm. I know from my own experience, like fighting games are always a little bit challenging when it comes to publishers and stuff. There's obviously the big
Yeah.
ones like Capcom and SNK or Bandai Namco. They're out of our league, you know what I mean? But like a lot of other companies are really scared to bring on fighting games because it's hard to publish, hard to work with those communities because they're kind of up in the air. You never really know how a game's going to do until it releases, which is a very big risk, which I understand. But it's wild because fighting games like from 3 decades or now are now being revitalized and become making communities all over the world now. Like I just learned yesterday that I think it's in Korea, Bloody Roar 2 is one of the most popular played games. Like it's the weirdest things you find out about the world. But I hope one day that like people will take more respect into fighting games and like will give them more of a shot because I think there's a lot more to them than people see with just their bare eyes. And I do hope that you find a publisher. I think your game deserves one. It looks great.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, man. I mean, I think it won't be difficult to find a publisher. I've been contacted by some already,
Hmm.
and yeah, for now, like I'm taking the game to many events this year,
Ooh.
on-site events, and yeah, that's where I plan to have like a face-to-face contact with more publishers,
Hmm.
so I can actually decide on one. But I don't think it will be difficult like it was for One Strike. I already have people interested in, and actually people that wanted to do the online multiplayer. So
Nice.
I can't say right now that the game will have, but I'm really confident that I'll be able to pull this off.
I I think you're going to be able to too. I'm really excited to see it. I will gladly run it at one of my events. I will promise you I'll run it for you. Um, so I guess this is getting more of a personal question. What is your favorite character in your game right now?
Oh, mm, I have to say the in One Strike is definitely Tomoe. I
Okay.
really like her because she actually was inspired by Genjuro. Like her moveset is
Hmm.
actually uh, a little bit similar. I
Sure.
mean, in a simpler scope, of course. And in Two Strikes, I would say the Goemon is definitely the one that plays the coolest,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. But I do like the later one, which is called Shinran. It's the guy with he has like a rope and a kunai.
Yes.
And
Kind of like Scorpion almost from Mortal Kombat a little bit there.
yeah, yeah, and like it took a while to actually like nail the animations and his fighting style. But yeah, I'm really happy about it now. I think it will be like I think people really like it. Yeah, I think that's these two.
Okay, good stuff. All right, Dan, thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me. Before we get out of here, is there anything you want to like tell everybody before any cool things? When's third strike? Whatever you
Oh no 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 no. Oh yeah. No man, that will be a lot of dedication to this game for many years now.
Mhm.
This is just the beginning. The releasing the game with the 9 characters. I intend to release more DLC characters. I have at least 2 planned for the game after the release,
Okay.
and I mean, if the game goes well, definitely more. So just if I mean, what I can say is, if you want to participate in the development, we have a very alive and very nice community of players. You can join like me on Discord and like play the game. I would love to hear your feedback about it. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Well,
Thank you, thanks a lot for inviting me as well.
of course, I love. I'm super fascinated by development of fighting games, and it's even more so because like your game is awesome. Like also every time I click on the double click on your icon to load it up, I just love looking at all the animations and everything. It's absolutely love it. But yeah, thank you so much, Dan, and we're gonna have to play some games soon.
Yeah, we have to. Thanks a lot, Phil.